is Ryan Hoyme, aka Massage Nerd. Today we have Mariann Sisco. Welcome.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Ryan.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the Barral Institute then. So
yes.
how'd you get involved in that then?
Well, what happened is that I was studying craniosacral therapy with the Barral Institute, and some other colleagues, while we were on break at the pool, had said, you know, you ought to try this visceral manipulation. It's really good stuff. And so I was like, oh, well, okay. So I did go ahead and take the initial Visceral 1 class. And what happened is that after I had taken that class, I went back to my clinic where I work as a physical therapist, and I had a patient that I had been working with that had a medial meniscectomy. And when I had left her before going to the class, we had spent 2 weeks with her range of motion at a plateau. And I came back, measured her knee, nothing had changed while I was gone. And so I thought, well, I'll try this visceral manipulation on for this knee. And, you know, it's like, what? But I did what we call the local listening technique to determine which organ was needed to be treated. And I got that it was her stomach. So I treated her stomach with a very gentle mobilization, and I remeasured her knee, and she got 10 more degrees of flexion. And so the patient's like, what did you do? And I said, I don't know, because I had just, you know, taken the class, and the Barral Institute is very, very generous with their content. And so you take, like for me, I get like a lot of information on techniques, and then I have to like go and practice it and assimilate it and get it together about exactly what did happen for her. And what I came to understand is that many times the organs who have an axis of motion about which they move in relationship to their neighboring organs, sometimes that can be altered. And when the axis of motion is altered, it then can start to spread its effect into other parts of the body, and in particular, the musculoskeletal system.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's how I got involved.
Yeah. And I know for ever I kind of researched visceral massage and stuff like that.
Yes.
But the thing is, it's kind of mysterious. I didn't really understand what it all entailed and what areas and stuff like that. So
yeah, and you can have actual effects not only on the organ and the neuromusculoskeletal system, but the function of how that system operates. So with the stomach, not only can you help with the actual mobility of it, but you can also help with the digestive function, because it's part of the system.
And is that the main area that you focus with techniques, is the abdominal area?
No, no. I mean, it's the brain is also an organ. We work with the lungs, the whole shooting match. And Jean-Pierre Barral has also developed techniques for the tendons. Because the tendons are so rich in the proprioceptive information that gets fed to the brain and comes back, so that you get some really nice effects with that as well. Yeah.
So you teach for them then, right?
I do some presenting for them. So I help present the 1- and 2-day classes, an overview and introduction. And then we have a whole team of instructors that go and teach the 4-day class. And you know, if I could, there's like this great example about how it can get translated into the musculoskeletal system. Is the lung has, you know, its visceral pleura, and then there's the parietal pleura that's lining the inside surface of the ribs. And so there's a serous fluid that's between those 2 layers. And if we get an infection or something, that can create a little adhesion. And then that alters the lungs and their ability to move. And then what happens is the respiratory diaphragm's like a piston, and it's going up and down 24,000 times a day. And so that starts to feed back to the brain this abnormal axis of movement. And as time goes on, because of that connection on the ribs, the internal surface of the ribs articulate, have 5 articulations. There's 2 with the vertebral bodies. There's 1, that goes to the transverse process. Then we've got our sternochondral and our costochondral junction there. So what ends up happening is that adhesion and that altered motion can take and twist that whole cage. And so what would happen as a massage therapist or a physical therapist, we might see that transverse process is rotated and it doesn't have good anterior-posterior glide. And so we might try and treat that. Here, let me do that. But it's coming from this restriction in that between those pleural layers. It gets translated there. And so that's why when we work on a musculoskeletal area and it's only a temporary relief or we can't really get at it, it's because it's maybe coming from one of the organ systems.
Yeah, definitely. And what's the best way to get in contact with you or
well, if you call the Barral Institute, you could go to the barralinstitute.com. All right. Also, the 800 number, 800-233-5880.
Okay. Well, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes, thank you.